So now that they've become known for setting up these beat battles, kind of like television programming.
Suck it. I did prepare.
Okay, no, good. This is the kind of energy we need for the podcast. What's going down is DJ Payne 1. This is the MEC podcast. I believe this is episode 41. And if you reverse the 4 and the 1, you get 14, which is my actual intellectual age. What's going down? We have a special guest, Tina G, my friend of many, many years. And she's a singer-songwriter, internationally touring performer. Obviously not touring right now because she's not out of her freaking mind. But we also have Dame Ritter, who's now becoming a regular on this podcast. Hey, Dame, how are you feeling?
I'm doing all right, man. Just trying to weather this storm still. Like we said before, not much has changed for us, like from a work standpoint. Like a lot of the stuff we do is still, is online. So I'm used to all this live streaming and doing the podcast and stuff like that. But it's definitely a crazy time. So this next coming Monday, or I guess tonight, because people are hearing this on Monday, I'm just going to be checking in. I pushed back the guest that I had for Monday night, and I just want to check in with people to see how they're doing, see how they're coping with this. If they have anything anything positive that they're doing that they can share with others, because I want to make sure that all of our members, all of our people that rock with us, like as soon as the gate is lifted, we're already in stride. We're already hitting some momentum, and it's not, we just got to be productive during this time. So that's what I'm trying to do myself. So just a couple updates before we get started. We have the BeatStars Summit, the online BeatStars Summit. That's Wednesday to Friday. I'm hosting the first day of panels. DJ Payne 1 is hosting the second day of panels. And then I think BeatStars has a bunch of events going on that Friday. It's a free event. All they need to do, I think it's summit.beatstars.live, if I'm not mistaken. Just go there and sign up, RSVP. It's going to be streamed on Twitch. I think it's going to be streamed a bunch of different places, but it's going to be dope. We've been prepping hard for it. We've been reaching out to a lot of people in our Rolodex to get them to join panels, a lot of dope people. So a lot of great information will be shared. So make sure you look out for that. Anyway, back to the podcast. I just want to make sure we talked about the online summit.
So this is kind of a reason why I brought Tina on, because there is a lot of negative news out there, and I'm not seeing too many creatives just shut down because of the quarantine, but I am seeing it happen here and there, and it's sad to see. And in addition to just shutting down creatively, because there's so much going on and so many different pressures coming at us, we're obviously scared to death of our financial states. And shout out to the people who are shedding light on this, specifically John Legend with his tweet that spread around. I think that inspired some people who might be patrons of the arts to focus on smaller creators a little bit more. Just shift the conversation a little bit, because most producers, most songwriters, most rappers, most bands are not highly successful, wealthy artists who just have a reserve of cash. And I know Tina and I were talking about some of our fears when the World Health Organization first announced the pandemic, and you had all of these state-level quarantines, kind of de facto quarantines, but quarantines nonetheless. And since then, you've actually created some new income streams for yourself, and rather than shut down, you kind of went into overdrive and got resourceful and creative about how you were going to re-envision your role as a singer and songwriter in the time of the pandemic.
Right. I think for me, it was just, I completely lost all of my income for the foreseeable future. I sing in a cover band. And that's weddings, corporate events and stuff like that. And that was like my 9 to 5. And I was making a good money doing that, plus all my other hustles. And suddenly that was completely gone. So all of my ways of paying my bills, living, is completely gone. So and it was weird because right before this all happened, I ordered some more CDs randomly because Atomic Disc was having a sale. And I was like, well, I'm going to be doing all these little, I do a lot of acoustic things, like for like Parade of Homes and all these little, like, just money gigs, you know, basically covers and whatnot. And so I'm like, well, I'll have some CDs for that, you know, like, basically I don't even, you know, I give them out like cards because they're $1 each and they're just good PR. And so, but once this happened, I was like, hey guys, I have some CDs, and I sold a bunch of CDs, and I started to like do a live stream every Friday night. And I mean, the live stream, the first one, I was absolutely shocked at the amount of money that I made. And then the second one, I was like, well, people are going to be tightening their purse strings. And I expected to make money on the first one, but not the second one. Second one, I made more money. And, you know, and I wasn't like asking for money every 5 seconds or anything. I was just trying to push out good energy and, you know, be funny and be light and be myself, you know, and not like I just tried to give people a break from the feeling of dread and this foreboding, you know, energy that's in the air. So like, you know, I'm trying to bring good energy to people and just a break, you know, like I think that's our job as artists right now, is to give people a break for their brains, for their hearts, for their spirit, just to like have them, you know, think about something else or not think about anything, frankly, actually, you know.
So what platform did you use to do this?
For me, my biggest platform is Facebook, on my actual just regular page, not even my music page, because my music page doesn't really get face, because all of my, you know, jokes and my memes and all my stuff is on my regular page. So I'm like, I'm just going to go from there because that's where I talk to all my fans and that's where I interact with everybody. So, and it's, you know, it's just how I do things. It's probably smarter to go through the music page, but I just find that I get way more shares, way more interaction on my regular Facebook page. And yeah, so this will be my third one this coming Friday, tomorrow. And, you know, it's been really, really great. And my fan, you know, and it's cool to see your fans talk to each other, and, you know, all your fans and then your friends are and so it's just like, it's kind of like everybody's drinking and hanging out. So it's like a nice, you know, and it's the same people. It's like your fans are, you know, you got the same folks that like you and they all come and hang out. So it's nice to foster that, that atmosphere of like, hey, let's all hang out. Let's all talk to each other. Let's all laugh and have a good time during this like 40 minutes to an hour spot. And that's what I try to encourage. And, you know, I say, look, here's my Venmo, here's my Cash App, here's my PayPal. I list it so it's easy to find, but I don't talk about it every break or anything like that. I just sing my songs and crack jokes and try to be, you know, funny as possible and make people smile and laugh, you know.
Do you find that one of those money platforms is better than the other? Like, do you receive more through Cash App?
I would say Venmo is like the one I get the most money from. It's the easiest. I feel like the most people have Venmo and are used to kind of like sending out small amounts of money with that. I would say PayPal second and Cash App is third. But it's good to have all of them, because then no matter what, people are like, oh shit, oh, I got that. Like, you know, and they don't have to download anything. The best way to make sure that you're getting the most amount of money is just to have everything covered as much as you can, you know, and to make it really easy for people to give you money. So that's another really important thing.
Yeah, definitely get Cash App, because you don't know how many of your fans might be selling drugs on the side.
You know, yeah, my name is Tina Jizzle on Cash App. So, I just think, you know, it's just, you just want to make it easy. And and not pressure, like one of the cool things I saw is people that do have more money were buying records for other people that didn't. So if somebody messaged me, hey, I'd really like your record, or I'd really like this, but I don't have any money, I'd be like, well, somebody pledged an extra one and I'm going to send it to you. What's your address? So I've had a lot of that cool stuff of people like stepping up for other people, trying to spread music and love through their donations too. So that's cool.
So with your career overall, because you've been doing this forever, and now you're completely a solo artist, but you didn't start as a solo artist. Well, when I met you, you were in a rock band, and then we were in a hip hop band together, and then you were in other things, and now you're in a cover band, but you're mostly pushing your own solo music. But what's cool about your career overall is that, you amass these fans in the band, and then you amass the fans in the hip hop group, and there might be thousands of fans, 10, 20,000 fans. Obviously, when you leave the group, you lose a lot of those fans, the majority of them, but you've taken a lot of them with you, and to this day, they're Tina G fans. They're not fans of you because of your association with another group or another recording artist. So how is it that you manage to retain those fans? What is it that you do that you think sets you apart from other artists who aren't able to do that?
I mean, in my career, all the years of touring, all of the times we, did merch lines where we met and talked to each and every one of these fans over the years. So like, I know them. They come to many shows. Like I remember them and I talked to them on Facebook, and I just got, this longtime fan of mine. I was looking back, I was like, wow, she's been messaging me for so long. She just wanted to fly me out to Hawaii to do one of my suppers. I do another hustles called She Sings for Your Supper, where I cook for people and then I perform for small groups and little things like that. So, this fan was like, I've had her for so long that she's like, I'm part of her family to her. So I'm going to Hawaii in her little short, small group. That's the kind of relationships I've fostered over the time. I mean, I'm not sitting there like talking to them in major depth because, there's to be appropriate with your fans too, and not get too involved in their personal lives, but to care about them on a human level, because then it can get real crazy. But I always talk to them. I always thank them. I always reach out to them. Your fans are the reason you get to do what you do. Your fans are the reason that you get to make a living at music. So of course you're going to be really kind to them and really loving to them because without them, you're nothing. Or just a person making music for yourself. And my job is to get out the good vibes and the good, feeling for people. And if I didn't have a platform to do that, it would be pretty sad. So it's important. I'm getting texts.
I think that's super important. I've met a lot of like major label artists that got thrown into everything so quick, and things happened very quick for them that they forgot to build or didn't understand that building these connections, these deeper connections with fans was necessary. So when their run was over, they just kind of faded away because they didn't have these deep rooted connections with their fans. Because even if you're a major label artist, 99 out of 100, you're gonna fall back down, and you're gonna need, a fan base to continue to thrive. The other question that I had for you, because a lot of times we start these things online and it's just an idea, right? It's like, say, okay, I'm going to go live and I'm going to, see if people are going to support me via Cash App or whatever. And then once you do it, you start to think of ways you can enhance it and improve the experience.
Absolutely.
How are you thinking about your live show going forward? Are you thinking of adding certain things?
I am. Actually, this week I'm going to set it up outside with an amp, and I'm going to be in my backyard, and I'm going to make it a little bit more. If it's not raining tomorrow, but I'm going to make this sound a little bit better. Although I found that, like, I've been watching other artists that I really admire do their thing. And, you know, and they have way more equipment than me. And they're way more technical than me. And they sound the same as me. So no matter what you're doing in your room and how good you sound, what comes out is about the same as if you don't, to be honest. And they found that too. So, but it looks cooler. You know, they want it to look cool too. So having more stuff like makes people like look a little bit more, you know, I've thought about doing to have more interaction, to have like a poll of like 3 songs of these are 3 covers I want to do. The first 100 votes wins. And then I'm like, hey, and if you voted, send me $1. So that way I get like, if 300 people vote for this one song and they all send me $1, that's $300 in one day. So, you know, you got to be thinking about small things that can, because $1 is nothing to people, especially with Venmo. I want to send her $1 Venmo. It's super easy. So just like little things that could, you know, $300 once a week, you're eating. You know, you're eating during this. So, like, that's important for you to think about small, not like these big, grand things. It's not about that right now. Nobody has a lot of money to give you right now. So you need to think about how do you cultivate your fans? How do you engage them every time? How do you keep them coming back? And how do you give them a little bit more each time so they feel, you know, they want to come back and they watch you, you know? And, you know, being grateful, being gracious, being, you know, and it's not like you're not a sucker if you are like that. Some people are like, oh, like, I don't want to be a sucker. I don't need, you know, yes, you need your fans. And you're not a sucker if you are appreciative. You look like a sucker if you don't, frankly. So I think that it's important for you to really realize that. And you will be cooler to them if you're gracious to them. As much as that seems counterintuitive to you, that is the truth. So, and they just want to, you know, they want to know that they can roll with you and hang with you and you're not better than them. They want to be equal with you, you know, and that's how you get them to stay. Feel like, you know, that's how you get your fans to stay. All my fans know that I'm just me and I'm super vulnerable and I say the fucking truth. If I'm struggling, if I'm not struggling, whatever it is, I'm honest with them and they are basically like, oh shit, she's just like me. She's just like me. Let me go ahead and like support her because shit, I need some support right now. So, you know, that's your job is to connect with your like people, you know, like who are your fans? Connect with them. That's the most important thing. If you can do that, you will stay. I have fans from 30 years ago that still buy my stuff, still give me money, still send me money, still want to help me and support me as an artist.
When you're doing the live, do you have anybody kind of helping you like manage the communication or put up the polls like online, or are you doing everything yourself?
Yeah, I mean, shit, we all got time, right? We all got time right now. No excuses.
Right.
You know, like, and I was really nervous too. I'm not going to lie. Like my first live stream, I was super nervous. I didn't know the logistics of it. And the other thing I found too is like, if you get really fancy with it and you get super fancy with it, people aren't as interested as if it's just like, put your phone up, doing a raw thing. And it looks kind of like that has worked more for me than overthinking stuff and trying to do fancy things. Like, and it also blocks you from doing anything. So just do it. Like, just start today, put your phone up, do a live thing, talk to your fans, whatever. Don't overthink everything. That's what I made a huge mistake. And I could have been doing this all along and I'd have a lot more fans than I do right now, frankly. So I think, you know, you don't have to have it. Doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to be anything more than just like being real. Right. You just have to be real.
Yeah, I think that's something that way too many creatives struggle with, just trying to figure out what to do and how to do it. And those are just two barriers to actually taking an action. It's crazy to me too, because, you know, as creatives who can make music out of thin air, when we're confronted with the need to create content, a lot of us just freeze up. you know, we'll say, well, what kind of content do our fans want? I don't know. I just make music. It's weird, and I think that I don't know what because I'm sure we were all like that at one point. We had no idea what to create beyond our music because we thought all we had to offer was the music. How did you get past that barrier?
I mean, I mean, the truth is that barrier is every day. It's there every day, and you just have to like do it. You know what I mean? Like, and you know, I get frozen all the time. You just have to like push through it or allow yourself to be frozen that day or whatever, and then go back and start fresh the next day. You know, it's right now. I mean, the energy and the stress of all of this is so big that it is hard to, you know, there's been days that I'm just like, I just need to watch something dumb on Netflix and turn my brain off or whatever. But, you know, it's also about setting a timer for 1 hour and doing something for 1 hour. It's also about pushing yourself when you don't want to. And then suddenly 4 hours go by and you're like, oh, shit. OK, I like doing this. It's not pressure. It's joy. And I just have to like make myself start. So it's just, you know, it's just something that everybody has their own special way of doing it. But I think a lot of it's forgiving yourself when you struggle, you know, instead of, oh, I'm a piece of shit and I can't get anything done. And it perpetuates you not getting anything done. Forgiving yourself, letting yourself take a moment and then going the next day hard. That is, you know, to me better than just adding.
and trying new stuff, because I know I didn't expect you to say yes when I first asked you if you wanted to write hooks for beats that I was putting online on BeatStars.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. You know, this was new. It's
in my wheelhouse.
It is, but I had a problem transitioning into making just beats publicly available. I don't know. I felt weird about it. So you actually didn't. And like the first 3 tracks we recorded, I think they've sold hundreds of copies, and they're, you know, hundreds of thousands of views on YouTube, which is crazy.
Yeah, Not the One is like our biggest seller for sure.
Well, it was number one on the charts, I think, for a while.
It was nuts. It was nuts. That was awesome. Yeah, I mean, I love it just because it's like feels very at like home to me to especially work with you. How long? 20 years we've been working together?
Yeah, I don't want to talk about it.
So, you know, like that. We look good and everything, though, you know, for being told and everything. Nugget, chill, bro. Chill. No nugs.
Yeah,
sorry, I got him.
This happens to Dame all the time, so don't be embarrassed. Dame has a whole army of dogs at his house just ready to turn up.
I have one dog.
Well, you have a neighbor dog that comes by and pisses on your couch every now and then.
One of them just passed away too, so that's unfortunate. But
I'm sorry.
Anyway, I think the thing about, you know, whether it's creatives or just entrepreneurs, like we can't be afraid to just try new things. Just jump. You know, the downside of not going live, it's like, how is that gonna hurt you? You know, it's like, okay, say, oh man, only 2 people showed up. Who cares? Like the worst case scenario is you got some practice in, you know, getting in front of a camera and performing your art. There really is no downside of trying this. Like none at all.
One thing I will say though is I really liked it after I did it the first time, and I was like, oh, I want to do this all the time. But then I'm like, maybe I should just do it on Fridays only, once a week, have it be like every same time, same, you know, during the week. Because I think if you inundate with live, if you're always live, you're always on there, you get annoying.
Right.
So be really careful about how often that you're on, the length that you're on. Be really I forget the word I'm looking for, like consistent with how, you know, if you could do that, like at least for a while, just to see, because I think some of artists would be like, oh, this is really fun, I want to do this all the time, and then you get annoyed. So you want to be really careful about how you use this as a tool to not, turn your fans off from you. Just, if you just want to talk shit or whatever, have it be productive, have it be something that is going to get you either more fans or money or something, not just you being whatever.
Right. Well, let's think about some other ways to improve the experience. Because the first time you might just turn your camera on yourself. You might just go live. You're just kind of doing whatever. But then when you step back and think about, okay, how can I be more strategic about it? So the consistency, the set time. I would also maybe think about your branding or what maybe your fans already know about you, right? So your fans may know that you're a coffee lover, or something like that. So maybe you do it in the morning when you're drinking your coffee. You're also singing,
I was drinking wine.
Or maybe, this may be a little too basic, but if you're a stoner, maybe you go live at 4:20 and, do your thing at 4:20 every Tuesday or whatever.
All of this stuff applies to Tina. That's the beautiful thing about it.
Shut up.
So no, I think there's maybe even collaborate, with another artist at the same time. And
I'm looking to do that. I'm looking that's my next thing. And there's lots of just amazing stuff, people and now they're making pages that are little mini festivals. So if you're a rapper, if you're a R&B singer, whatever, I would do a search to see who's doing that. Can I get on? Can I offer up, something like that? Those are good resources. Look at what other people are doing. Look at what successful people are doing. And don't copy them, but do your own spin on the gist of what they're doing, because that's successful. It's not bad for you to research in that way. That's a really good resource for you to see what works, that's a really good tool. What is working right now, and then play off that.
Yeah, I just saw that Fader was doing that. They're taking what was going to be, because they typically have a big South by Southwest stage, the Fader Fort stage, and I just saw yesterday. I didn't look to see who's playing on it, but I think I just saw a flyer. You go to the splash page, and then they're setting up a schedule of performances online. So I thought that was pretty.
There's just a plethora of pages that have popped up, live from here, live from here, live from here, live stream. So there's a lot of stuff right now. So it's good to get on the ground floor and just see what's out there. That's a good way to research for yourself.
Yeah, not that anybody, can probably do this that's watching this, but, these beat battles that Swizz and Timbaland have been organizing. I was watching the Scott Storch and Manny Fresh one yesterday. They had 180,000 people watching at one time. It was crazy. Yeah. So now that they've become known for setting up these beat battles, kind of like television programming, they promote it a day before. A lot of people get involved, and they just drum up more excitement, so the promotion is so much better than the first one.
I also find that, being vulnerable, me saying I'm nervous about my first live stream. I was really nervous about it. And I was like, hey guys, I'm really nervous about this. I got so much support. So much more support, I think, than if I would have come in there all hey, I know exactly what I'm doing. So I was really nervous, and I was really vulnerable about that, and I was really, really supported. So I think just being real, is so important. And I think, it's probably easier for me as a female, but I think, everyone appreciates and sees real. So I think that's just the really important thing as any artist. If you want to get and keep fans, you can't be fake, period.
For sure.
So let's get real. Let's talk about 5G and how it's causing flu-like symptoms in millions of people across the world. Dame, I know you had something to add to that. You wanted to talk about the gay agenda and the lizards.
Not at all. I know nothing about that. I just know that the coronavirus is real. So Tina, I manage a comedian named Big Jaw. We went live yesterday because he was diagnosed with it, and he fortunately has gotten through the worst of it. We think that he's kind of free and clear, so he's getting his health back, so he was healthy enough to go live. He had 5,000 people watching just him talk about his experience with the coronavirus. So I think it's important that people, one, know it's real. Stop with these ridiculous.
Well, I would say the 5G is also real, but it's just, convenient that it's all happening at the same time.
Yeah, radiation is not good. We shouldn't have radiation flying through our bodies, from all directions. But coronavirus.
Whatever. I mean, regardless of anything, I believe that the coronavirus is absolutely real, but there's also a lot of weird stuff going on right now with that rollout. But whatever, it is what it is, and the powers that be seeing who's going to be nuked and who isn't.
So I'm curious. I'm sorry I didn't tune into the live with Big Jow. What were some of his symptoms, and what led him to even get tested? Because that's what scares me. I don't even necessarily know how this virus behaves, because it's like any virus that just affects people differently.
Yeah, so I think it can be different, in different people. Sometimes it just starts like a regular cold, but for him, a cough came on pretty suddenly, just kind of like immediate. And then you kind of go downhill very fast, like a lot of backaches, body aches, fatigue. It was really hard for him to walk and get up, cold sweats, loss of taste and smell. I think that's a common one that I hear people say. And, a lot of guys, we wait to go to the hospital for a lot of things. For whatever reason, laziness or ego, pride, we wait to go to the hospital. So he probably waited 2 or 3 days too late to go to the hospital. But he actually was able to get a test when a lot of people weren't able to get a test. But then it takes 4 or 5 days to get your damn results back. So you're sick for 6 to 8 days before they even know if you have it. And at first they told him that he didn't have it. Then they said that he did have it. Then they quarantined him at the hospital, spent a few days there. And they released him. He still had some viral pneumonia. But it was all bad. Like he was really going through it for, like a week and a half. It definitely sidelined him and put him in a terrible space. He said he's never really experienced anything like that. I mean, he understands how people can compare it to the flu, because there are some flu-like symptoms, but it's definitely on another level. If it hits you the way it hit him.
I swear I had this shit back in February last month.
I thought I had it in January, beginning of January 8th. I got so gravely ill. Like I don't get sick very often, and I also I haven't been this sick in my whole life. Like I was so ill, I couldn't breathe. No. Like I would, whenever I would, it just was like this horrible sound, and it lasted for 4 weeks. So I'm pretty sure that I had it in January. I think it was like, all of that sounds right. All of the symptoms. So I think it's been going around here a lot longer than they say, and the first time I was scared. I was like, should I go? I was talking to my nurse friend. I was like, I might have to go to the hospital. And I have to be dying, literally like a dude, like dying to go to the hospital. So, oh gosh. But yeah, it's scary stuff. Like I've been very vigilant. I've been staying home. I've been I don't want to stay home every minute. I mean, I'm good. I'm an extrovert. I'm an introvert. Staying home is fine. But, the more that you can't go out, the more you want to,
Right.
First time I'm like, I want to go out every day, but anyway, it's just really, it's a scary thing, and everybody needs to stay inside and think of their fellow man for a while,
Well, let's go live sometime and do a beat making, hook writing thing. I think that'd be a good idea.
Yeah, I think it'd be fun. People would like it. How do you do that with two people?
Zoom. We could make it an MEC thing. Dame knows how.
Oh, all right. Sounds good.
The Zoom platform, Zoom obviously has been thrust to the forefront of video live streaming. Everybody's on Zoom now. But it is a dope platform, super stable. I haven't really had any issues with it. They're winning right now.
Well, and these other platforms need to step it up, because YouTube used to have the capacity to bring guests on. They killed that. I don't know why. YouTube's making all these stupid-ass decisions. Instagram Live is just Bug Central. Periscope is, I guess I don't even know. Let me not speak on it. I just haven't. I guess Twitch would be another good option, but you know, I'm not a gamer, so I'm not too familiar with it. We're gonna have to learn because that's what the BeatStars Summit is on. But this is a good time to plug the BeatStars Summit and remind people also that Collab for the Crown is still going on. Win $1,000 and a feature with King Crooked, one of the dopest rappers of the last 2 generations, honestly. Collabforthecrown.com. It's really easy to sign up. It's really inexpensive. We're all on quarantine anyway, so it's time to do that. We're also at Music Entrepreneur Club on Instagram, and follow Damon and I on Twitter because we're going to plan on more rap and producer contests, and those are free to enter. We had one on Instagram Live. The winner got over $300, almost $400, because throughout the live people were donating, much like your live stream, Tina, where they're just adding to the pot, you know, $1 at a time. So we were getting donations.
For me, my fans have been super generous. Yeah. Like I was like $50 tips and like, you know, that kind of stuff. I really felt the love, and this, you know, fans from like way back, and you know, it's just really, I feel very lucky and really happy to have, you know, cultivated this strong bond with them. So it's cool.
Yes.
The last thing I'll say about that is I think a lot of artists don't really, you know, a lot of them have the same mindset as you. Like they're hesitant to ask for money. They don't want to be too salesy and things like that. You know, but on the flip side, you don't really know who's in your fan base. You know, there could be people in your fan base that are loaded and they want to support you. They're, you know, they want to tip you, you know, $100, $200. You just don't know who's in your fan base. So as long as you position the messaging right and it's authentic, like you said, you might get surprised with $1,000 tip from somebody.
Right. You know, I mean, it's like it's a crapshoot of like how that person's feeling, how you touch their heart, how you know, it's really about that. Like you never know how you're going to touch somebody with your work. You just don't. Like, I just got this awesome message from this girl that worked at a nursing home, and I was having a hard day, and I sang this Peggy Lee song called "It's a Good Day," just because I wanted to feel better. And they played it at the nursing home for these ladies, and like they responded like they haven't seen these ladies respond in months. And this other like old black gentleman, they played the song I did by Etta James, and he had to open his eyes and see this white girl because he couldn't believe that I was singing, and it just uplifted his spirit so much. And she sent me that message, and she's like, you are doing good in the world. You are affecting people in a positive way, and you need to know. And it was like made my night, you know, happy tears kind of stuff. You know?
Okay, hold up, because I've made a grave error. Shout out your social media so people can actually listen to all this amazing music.
Tina Jean on Facebook, Tina Jean, and then Tina G Music on Facebook, and my Instagram is Tina G Music 3.
Tina G Music 3, it rhymes.
Yeah, Tina G Music 3 is my Instagram. I'm on YouTube. It's just not a good channel. Nobody looks at it. Just go to my Facebook page. That's where you can talk to me, and that's where I am. Because I'm, you know, pretty old school. I'm learning new stuff, you know, but that's where everything is mainly gathered right now.
All right, Tina G on Facebook. Sorry, Tina Jean on Facebook. Tina G Music 3 on Instagram. Thanks again for joining us. This was a long episode, but it was full of really good advice. So, shout out to everyone tuning in for the full almost 40 minutes. Once again, I'm DJ Payne 1. He's Dame Ritter. We were joined by Tina G. This is the MEC podcast. Join us at musicentrepreneurclub.com. Until next time. Peace.